The second trailer for Ghostbusters Afterlife is finally here, and there's a ton for fans to unpack in this glimpse at the latest Ghostbusters story. Here's some of the details only true fans noticed in the latest Ghostbusters Afterlife trailer. In the trailer, a black and white photo of the 4 original Ghostbusters is shown. They're posing in front of their firehouse. This photo appears to have been taken on the set of the first movie. Based on the clothing they're wearing, it was probably taken on the day that the Ghostbusters were visited by the spiteful EPA inspector Walter Peck. He winds up shutting down the containment unit holding all the ghosts they've captured, causing an explosion that frees all the trapped vapors, entities, and slimers. As hundreds of spirits escape and begin creating mayhem all over New York City, the Ghostbusters are arrested. Ghostbusters Afterlife will focus largely on characters who are new to the franchise, but the latest Ghostbusters Afterlife trailer includes 2 appearances from some familiar characters. The trailer's first cameo comes courtesy of Annie Potts, who can be seen reprising her Ghostbusters role as Janine Melnitz. The former Ghostbusters receptionist appears to be giving Carrie Coon's Callie a tour of the creepy farmhouse left to her and her children by her late father, Egon Spengler.
Janine, someone with your qualifications would have no trouble finding a top-flight job in either the food service or housekeeping industries.
Potts doesn't appear again throughout the rest of the trailer, but her appearance acts as an efficient way to connect Afterlife to the original 2 Ghostbusters films. The familiar manner in which Janine refers to Egon also suggests that Janine could possibly be the mother of Coon's Callie, which could potentially make her Egon's wife and partner. Janine and Egon did share a romantic spark in the first Ghostbusters film, but Potts' character went on to date Louis Tully in Ghostbusters 2. Still, it's possible Afterlife will reveal that Janine and Egon ended up getting together sometime after the events of Ghostbusters 2. Or Janine could just be giving Callie a tour of the farmhouse as an old family friend. Either way, the scene is a fun nod to the connection that Janine and Egon had in the first Ghostbusters. The Ghostbusters Afterlife trailer appears to give us a few hints as to what evil is at the center of the film. When Phoebe peers over the edge of what appears to be some kind of volcano-like portal, an arm suddenly reaches out. Sharp-eyed fans may notice that the figure's electricity-laden arm and spiky hair is reminiscent of Gozer, the extremely powerful supernatural being who was introduced in the original Ghostbusters movie. In the first Ghostbusters, Gozer takes the form of the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man and wreaks havoc on New York City before being blasted to smithereens by the Ghostbusters. Gozer also had 2 loyal subjects who are central to the Ghostbusters universe: Vince Clortho, the Keymaster, and Zuul, the Gatekeeper. If Gozer does in fact return for Ghostbusters Afterlife, it's possible that its minions will return too. The Afterlife trailer is partly framed by a conversation between Callie and Mr. Gruberson over dinner, as the single mother explains the dynamic she has with her children. She gets on fine with her son Trevor, but she has a fraught relationship with her daughter Phoebe. It's not clear whether Callie and Mr. Gruberson are on a date or not, but it wouldn't be surprising if their roles are a bit bigger than the trailers have implied so far. The 1984 film established that 2 entities are needed to free Gozer: the Gatekeeper and the Keymaster. Zuul possesses Dana Barrett in the original, while Vince Clortho takes over Louis Tully. With Gozer seemingly threatening Summerville in Ghostbusters Afterlife, the malevolent entity will likely need 2 hosts to open the gateway once again. Since Callie and Gruberson have struck up some kind of rapport, it's possible that the sequel is setting them up to be the new Gatekeeper and Keymaster. Officially known as terror dogs in the original film, Ghostbusters' iconic monsters look like giant horrifying dogs with horns and demonic glowing eyes. The terror dogs were used by Gozer to possess Dana Barrett and Louis Tully, turning them into its servants. Now it seems the terror dogs are back to wreak havoc in Summerville. In the trailer, we see a dog break through the doors of a Walmart and chase a frightened Mr. Gruberson through the parking lot. We don't know if this dog is Zuul or Vince Clortho, or an entirely new creature. Either way, it's clear this terror dog isn't likely to play nice.
Nice doggy, cute little pooch. Maybe I got a milk bone.
Clearly, Ghostbusters Afterlife is leaning into the mythology of the first movie through the apparent returns of both Gozer and the Terror Dogs. When Egon explains the history of Gozer and its worshippers, he says that Evo Shandor amassed a cult of nearly 1,000 followers in the 1920s.
They conducted rituals up on the roof. Bizarre rituals intended to bring about the end of the world.
Now it seems like Evo may have had a backup plan in Summerville, Oklahoma. In the Ghostbusters Afterlife trailer, the mines on the edge of town are called the Shandor Mines. The trailer briefly shows Trevor and his friends exploring the mines, which are filled with ominous statues and occult imagery. Then we see a huge cosmic portal swirling overhead. releasing a horde of ghosts into the small town. Perhaps Evo Shandor himself is responsible for building the mines, or maybe one of his followers decided to have a backup plan in place in case their rituals didn't work. Perhaps the biggest surprise of the Ghostbusters Afterlife trailer comes in the last few seconds. After we see an old commercial for the Ghostbusters playing on YouTube, we see a phone ring, and Dan Aykroyd's Raymond Stantz picks up. We only see his arms, but we instantly know it's Ray because of his voice when he answers.
We're closed.
It looks like the former Ghostbuster is still running as a cult bookstore, as evidenced by a neon sign for the shop on the window. Ray first opened the shop when the Ghostbusters were served a judicial restraining order between the first and second movies, and fans will definitely be excited to see him back in the franchise.
Ray's a cult. 7 o'clock on weekdays, midnight on Saturdays. Thank you.
If you look closely at Ray's arm, you'll see a tattoo that's actually a reference to the conversation he had with Winston Zeddemore in the original film, where they talked about a Bible verse depicting the end of the world and how it tied into their work.
Maybe the reason we've been so busy lately is because the dead have been rising from the grave.
How about a little music?
Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more Looper videos about your favorite movies are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.